Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us. If you're around 10 years old, or honestly, even if you just want to be an awesome friend, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're figuring out how to be ultimate team players. We'll be exploring some amazing ideas from a text all about the sacred bond of Christian unity. Unity, well, it's really just a big word for sticking together and working as one solid team. So go ahead and get comfortable, clear away any distractions, and let's get ready to build some stronger, better friendships today. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to think back to a time at recess, or maybe just hanging out in your neighborhood. You're playing an epic game of tag, or maybe basketball, and everything is going so well. But then, boom, someone argues over the rules, or two kids start fighting over who gets the best toy. Just like that, the game stops. Everyone's mad, and recess is literally ruined. Have you ever been there? It's kind of the worst feeling, isn't it? It just totally drains the fun out of everything. Well, as we'll see, there's actually a super deep spiritual reason why those arguments feel so awful. Section 1. Jesus has a big wish. You know, when we think about what Jesus prayed for, we usually picture giant miracles, right? Like parting water or healing the sick. But the text we're digging into today shows us that Jesus actually had a massive, incredibly important wish for all of his followers. And guess what? That absolutely includes you. He cared so much about how we treat our friends, our classmates, and our siblings. Right here in the book of John, chapter 17, verse 21, Jesus prayed that they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us. So the crucial point is, Jesus' absolute biggest prayer was for us to stick together in perfect unity. He wants us connected to each other just as tightly as he is to God the Father, a team that never, ever turns on each other. When we actually do this, our source tells us we reach incredible heights and become truly connected with God. Section 2. The two different paths. Every single day, whenever we hang out with our friends or siblings, we're actually picking between two very different teams. Yep, every word we say and every reaction we have puts us on one path or the other. We get to decide, are we going to build up our friendships, or are we going to tear them down? People on God's winning team practice a super important word. That word is benevolence. Benevolence means kindness, mercy, and love in action. The text tells us this amazing trait comes straight from infinite wisdom, from God himself. Practicing benevolence is like turning kindness into your everyday superpower. It means instead of just feeling bad that your friend dropped their lunch, you actually get down and help them pick it up. It's love with its boots on, ready to get to work. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between these two paths, because they lead to totally opposite results. On one side, we have God's influence. When his spirit rules in our hearts, it creates harmony, love, and unity. It brings us together. But the opposite influence working in the children of Satan brings strife, envy, and jealousy. Strife is really just a fancy word for constant fighting and arguing. So think of God's spirit like a superglue that holds us together, while the enemy's influence is like a pair of scissors, constantly trying to snip us apart and create continual contradiction. Our source paints this battle so vividly. It explains that human nature through Jesus Christ actually becomes allied to good angels, even to the great God. These powerful masculine angels bring peace and harmony. But on the flip side, human nature allied with the enemy brings division. We see this unholy fruit represented visually as a wicked-faced winged man in a priest's tunic who just spreads strife. It's a real battle over whether we choose to be peacemakers or troublemakers. So how do you know if you're accidentally playing for the wrong team? Well, the text gives us some very clear warning signs, calling them unholy fruits. Look at these. Continual contradiction, which is just arguing for the sake of arguing, strife, envy, and jealousy. Let's be real here for a second. If you find yourself feeling constantly jealous because your friend got a cool new bike or toy, and you start acting mean because of it, that is a massive warning sign. It means you might be letting the wrong influence rule your heart. Section 3. Danger of little differences. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it shows us that massive problems almost never start out massive. They start out extremely tiny. I mean, a giant forest fire can start from just one little match, right? It's the exact same way with our friendships. The text warns us that little differences dwelt upon lead to actions that destroy Christian fellowship. Imagine you and your friend have a tiny disagreement over the rules of tag. It's a little difference. But if you dwell on it, like if you go sit in the corner, cross your arms, and just keep thinking over and over about how unfair it is, that tiny spark snowballs. Pretty soon you're yelling, and that little difference has completely wrecked your friendship. So I really want to challenge you with a question today. Are you focusing on the little differences instead of the big similarities? Do you find yourself holding grudges over small things? The source text tells us the true mark of a Christian is the meekness of Christ. And hey, meekness definitely does not mean being weak. It means having a heart that's gentle and strong enough to choose peace, rather than needing to be right about every single little thing. Don't let a tiny disagreement ruin an awesome friendship. Section 4. Unity makes us strong. When we finally let go of those little differences, we unlock the ultimate secret to winning on God's team. It's not about being the toughest person all by yourself. It's about what happens when we lock arms and stand together. The source material is incredibly clear here. It says, in union, there is strength. In division, there is weakness and defeat. When we stand perfectly united with our friends in our church, we actually have the power to help others and save souls. In fact, sticking together without fighting is literally the most convincing argument we can give the whole world about Jesus' love. If people see a group of kids who share, care for each other, and don't fight over silly stuff, they are going to know for sure that Jesus' love is real. Let's move to and see how this builds, because the text actually gives us an exact roadmap for achieving this perfect unity. Step 1, keep drawing near to God, because the closer we get to Him, the closer He draws to us. Step 2, mold your disposition to Christ's will. Your disposition is basically your attitude. Think of it like clay. You have to let Jesus shape your attitude so it's kind and forgiving. And step 3, work together without collision. That simply means working side by side with your friends without crashing into each other with silly arguments. Section 5, growing God's garden. If we follow those 3 steps, drawing near to God, molding our attitudes, and working together peacefully, well, I want you to imagine the most beautiful, green, perfectly cared for garden you have ever seen in your life, because that is exactly what we become. The text says that when we reach upward to God as one, the churches will be like gardens of the Lord under His cultivation. It says God's people will be trees of righteousness, planted by the Lord and watered with the river of life. Isn't that just incredible? When we work together instead of fighting, our churches, our families, and our friendships turn into a perfectly cultivated garden. We aren't just surviving, we're thriving and growing tall and strong together. Let's break down this garden metaphor real quick so we get exactly what it means for us. Trees of righteousness means God's people growing strong, rooted, super deep in good choices. The river of life represents God's endless power, helping us love others even when it's tough. And the gardens of the Lord represents our perfectly united churches. Every single time you choose to share or choose to forgive a friend for a little difference, it's like watering that beautiful plant. You're helping everyone reach upward to God together as one big team. We've covered so much today in this explainer about the sacred bond of Christian unity. We learned that Jesus wants us to be one, that dwelling on tiny differences causes massive problems, and that standing together makes us incredibly strong. So I want to leave you with this final, super important challenge as you head out to the playground or the classroom today. Will you plant seeds of love, or will you plant weeds of jealousy? The choice is entirely up to you. Remember, real strength is found in kindness, benevolence, and unity. Go be an amazing team player today. Thanks so much for learning with me.